You were given 13 minutes to hide a paperclip in your house. Afterwards, a detective will be given an hour to find it. Where do you hide it? Get an arseload of paperclips and dump them all over the floor. The best place to hide a tree is in a forest. Needle in the haystack, but the haystack is just needles. And then hide the real paperclip somewhere else well hidden. Doesn't say the detective needs to identify it, just find it. If he can see it, it's found, even if it is among other identical paperclips. You're definitely a drug dealer, who knows he's about to be raided. I don't know what drug dealer has a stash the size of a paperclip. Then you don't know a drug dealer looking at 25 to life. Then flush it. Use acid. I hide it in one sock out of a pair and put the pair into the washing machine. I have 50-50 chance it disappears forever alongside the sock. I'd hide it under my roof tiles. Then leave clues for the detective. After he destroys my roof, I'd sue him and make him replace my roof. Aha! The old tomato patch maneuver. Love it. Story timeout. The Tomato Garden Story. An old Italian man lived alone in the country. It was spring and he wanted to dig his tomato garden, as he had done every year, but it was very hard work for the aging man as the ground was hard. His only son, Vincent, who used to help him, was currently in prison. The old man wrote a letter to his son and described his predicament. Dear Vincent, I am feeling pretty bad because it looks like I won't be able to plant my tomato garden this year. I'm just getting too old to be digging up a garden plot. If only you were here, my troubles would be over. I know you would dig the plot for me. Love, Dad. A few days later he received a letter from his son. Dear Dad, not for nothing, but don't dig up that garden. That's where I buried the bodies. Love, Vinny. At 4 a.m. the next morning, federal agents and local police arrived at the old man's house and dug up the entire area. However, they didn't find any bodies, so they apologized to the old man and left. A few more days later, the old man received another letter from his son. Dear Dad, go ahead and plant the tomatoes now. That's the best I could do under the circumstances. Love, Vinny.
Back to hiding your paperclip.
Up the arse it goes. They'd search. Up the dog's arse it goes. Up the pee hole then. Just like last month, unbend it and hide it in an empty pen. Stab it into a used tampon and throw it in the bin. The ultimate. Literally no one is going to look for it there. I was gonna say used pad. Tape it to the bottom of my shoe. Don't walk around though, it'll click like a tap dancing shoe. Invite Gregory Hines over. Stick it into a candle from the top, then light the candle for 10 minutes and enjoy while the liquid wax covers up the hole. Be sure to blow out the candle at the end. It's a fire hazard. The smell would give it away, and with only a few minutes to cool, the wax would still be soft. Freezer. Yes, kitchen is where all of this will go down. Also, microwave some food while there. 13 minutes is a lot of time. Take another identical paperclip and hide it on more obvious place, so he would find the wrong paperclip thinking he'd get the right one. Bam, you got it. And what happens if the paperclip is related to crime and the detective just finds out your lookalike paperclip? That is not specified. In such a case I would dissolve paperclip in the battery acid. In the seam of the refrigerator seal. That's actually not bad. I eat it. What if the detective is so paranoid that he performs surgery on your stomach to see if it's inside you? An X-ray would be less invasive, but for the sake of the intensity I like it. I poop it. They search the toilet. Straighten it out, pull a picture off the wall, pull the nail out, fish the paperclip through, put the nail back in, hang the picture. He's never going to find it. Also, set up a fog machine. Nothing in the rules that says I can't. In my fish tanks under the stones. First thing a detective would do when investigating the scene is to dump out the fish tank. Not because of any relevance to the case, but because detectives notoriously hate fish. I wouldn't hide it, Why do I care if a detective finds a paperclip in my house? Maybe it's related to a crime. Inside the vents. I can't get it, and it might screw something up, but that mother lover sure as hell won't find it. This is probably the first place he would look for. I'd put a packaged food item that is in the freezer, like a toaster strudel box, and seal the box back with some hot glue. On the door sill of the door they came in. Or with the rest of the paperclips. In the garage. Good luck finding anything in there, mate. My sock. They will leave it once their hand goes in the inside. Superglue it into my cat's fur. I know he's not gonna shave my cat because he'd get bit before he got close. Disclaimer, please don't superglue things on cats in real life. If I'm inside my house, could I just hide it in my ass? Since it's just a paperclip, you could just clench your cheeks as well. Simple, I grab it and bury it before they get there and then throw it in a bottle of bleach. Inside my guitar, then put the guitar in the case. Stick it in a bottle of cleaning chemicals or something. In the crack under the baseboard. Take a key of my keyring, and hook it to the paperclip and back onto my keyring. It'll be in plain sight, which would be on my body. Or in my pocket. In the oven, and I'll turn it on to 500 degrees. In the fireplace, just chuck it under the coals, which will take out the smell, then spend the rest of the time washing the ash of your hands. Plus, if your hands are wet, they'll spend ages searching the pond and fish tank. Under my boob. Here's my list of hiding places. The drip pan under the fridge. Freeze it into a container of soup or other food. Put it in a jug of milk. Zip it into a couch cushion. Bury it in my cat's litter. Tape it behind a bookshelf. Hide it in a plant pot. Inside the toilet tank. Inside a cat turd buried in the litter box. I'd hide 3. 2 in an obvious spot and 1 in my bra. The detective has to find 1, not 2. Just to make it interesting. Inside the outlet, of course. Rip a hole in the bottom of your sofa and put it in the stuffing. Throw it in a crack behind heavy furniture. Swallow it. Tape it inside one specific page in one specific book, chosen randomly. I'm on the toilet right now, so if I have 5 minutes, I guess I'll just slide it into one of my poop. Find a tiny hole in the drywall from past nails for mounting pictures. If I can't unfold it, then I'd probably find a gap in the carpet next to a support wall, and slide it beneath it, putting the carpet back over it. Pull up a little bit of the carpet and put it under, then staple the carpet back down. Unless he's tearing up my floors, he ain't finding it. Uncurl it and slide it deep inside the spine of a book. In the attic insulation. Drop it down the kitchen sink. I'd put it in my garden hose. Nice try, FBI. I'm not falling for that again. Dishwasher liquid compartment. I'd pop off a piece of molding and jam the thing into a piece of drywall and redo the molding. Tape to the back of my drawer. Put it in a bottle of lotion or tape it on top of the blades of the fan. In the AC unit. I feel like a very stressed detective has turned to Reddit in his hour of need. I have stands with mesh metal baskets in my closets. I'd tape the paper clip to the back of one of the stands, alternatively push it under the legs. It is not impossible to find, but it would take at least 5-6 hours before the detective began throwing everything out of the closet. Joke's on you, I made a bunch of hidden small spaces while drunk, apparently for flash drives. The only small hope that guy has is a metal detector, which also doesn't do shit, as 50% of my furniture has a decent amount of metal in it. He'll just walk home with a participation medal. In the fireplace, just chuck it under the coals, which will take out the smell, then spend the rest of the time washing the ash of your hands. Plus, if your hands are wet, they'll spend ages searching the pond and fish tank. I lose because I can't get home within 5 minutes. But assuming I was there, I'll hide it inside a piece of clothing. Probably in ratty old gym shorts, in the spot where the drawstring goes. Given 20 minutes, I'd hide it inside a similar hiding spot in my tent. Without an incentive, I'm not going to let a detective tear up my house for an hour. The paperclip is in plain sight on the kitchen table. I'd want something in plain sight, mobile. I put it in the collar of a pet. I'd put it in some Legos that were strewn about on the floor. They'd stay away from that because I'd also make them take off their shoes before I let them in. No one will ever risk going barefoot around Legos. I would find a dead bug and put it inside the bug. I would do the same, except substitute bug for human. I assume a detective who has managed to piss his boss off so bad as to be put on the paperclip division isn't qualified to investigate a murder. If he touches the body, he's interfering in a murder investigation and is probably taken off the case or reprimanded to some degree. Buys me time and I win. Without an incentive, I'm not going to let a detective tear up my house for an hour. The paperclip is in plain sight on the kitchen table. Detective still tears up entire house just to make sure there aren't more clips around. Not telling you, Mr. Detective. Where are you hiding the paperclip?